Well, I've had a couple of really good days of practice. Moved past Fresno, obviously back to school, which changes the dynamic a little bit. But we'll hopefully have a good practice today. Head over there. Got an early game tomorrow, which it's always unique. But both teams are playing early. But it's a great opportunity to play a UNLV team that's very, very talented. Obviously beat San Diego State on the road, which is not easy to do, and then beats a Utah State team. Wyoming obviously played well. They really did to beat UNLV. So it's going to be a tough game, and we're looking forward to it.
It's not entirely new for the way Kevin runs his offense, but they don't seem to, even with the great point guard who has a lot of assists, they don't seem to have a lot of their assist rate is low. Yeah. They don't pass the ball a lot. Is that something they're being forced into that you guys can take advantage of, or is that just what they do?
Well, I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing their offense, but a lot of that is what they do. It's a lot of off the bounce, and we're similar to that as well. Like we're a Colorado State, even an Air Force is more of a passing offense. They're an off the bounce offense, so I don't think Coach Lon Kruger ran similar stuff to it as well. So I don't know if that's necessarily it. They get the ball in D-Don's hands. They try to go to Bear Cherry in the post a decent amount. They were really, really big. You watched the games from last year to this year. I mean, the Boone brothers were huge. So I don't know why they don't have as many assists, but I would guess they're traditionally not a high assist team.
Overall, they're the height. You guys are bigger than them, and you haven't been for 3 years. You guys are getting that with a lot of teams, obviously, in the Mountain West this year. But overall, they're still fairly good-sized team. But the guys that are playing without Rob Whaley, without the Boone brothers, you guys are going to have a height advantage overall, it seems like, and that's the first time in this series you've had that. What do you – I know we've talked about like how you guys have benefited from the height advantage, but what do you do specifically to take advantage of it?
Well, with a team like UNLV, they switch a lot, 1 through 4. We tend to miss a lot of shots, go rebound it. Other than that, like we have things where you can certainly post up your guards, but like it's not like we do that a bunch. But, if we need to, I think we can. But really the emphasis is more on the rebounding side of it. Like nothing really changes on the defensive side. We want to be aggressive and all those things, but not a whole lot besides the rebounding side, I would guess.
Okay, and then the last one is that they are a team that it might just be pack line, but what do they do to prevent teams from even shooting a whole lot of twos, certainly not having a lot of success? They want you to shoot threes. I know Wyoming hit a bunch of them. You guys are coming off a game with a bunch. Is that something you think will happen, that you guys take a lot of threes?
I don't ever tell the team, like, hey, we're going to shoot this amount of threes. I mean, you want to take what the game gives you. We've had 3 days of practice to try to simulate what they do. They try to keep everything on the side. I think they call it push defense, whatever it is, I forget the name of it, but they're going to down ball screens. They're going to really, if you're on the outer third of the court, like they'll really load up. Post defense, they'll trap from the low side. So everything is really based off of keeping the ball on the side. So, I mean, I never tell guys, like, we try to give them an offensive scouting report to go along with a defensive scouting report, but take what the game gives you. I'd like to shoot more threes. I think we're willing or we're capable to make more threes. We made 13 last game, so I know we're capable of doing it, but I don't want to just jack up shots just to jack up shots. So, we'll just see. I mean, put pressure on the rim as much as you can. Try to get to the free throw line. If you got open looks, take them.
I know every year is different in its own right, but, I mean, this is a program for you guys that hasn't won at UNLV since, I think, 2018. So how much of that can kind of be a mental block for you guys?
Irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. The reason why we haven't won there with the team that we played was really good at the time. It's got nothing to do with the venue, the environment. Not to say it's not good. Like, I mean, Kevin's done a great job of, especially last year, they were on a little bit of a run there and they built some momentum. But no, there's nothing to that one way or the other. Like maybe there's teams that we've had their number or whatever. Like that has changed so much because of the transfer portal. Every team is different.
And then over the last 2 games, I mean, the start of the games have been huge for you guys. How big is that, again, going into UNLV, especially on the road?
Well, I mean, ideally you'd like to start games well, but at the end, to me, it really doesn't matter. It matters over a 40-minute span. Try to get guys to just ignore the scoreboard as hard as that can be, and just play the right way for 40 minutes. So yeah, ideally we'd love to start out 14-0. I don't think that's probably going to happen, but just be ready to go. Defense travels, rebounding travels. Don't turn the ball over. Something we did a lot last game. Go from there.
In general, how do you think each of your styles of play match up?
I think we've shown that we can play a variety of ways. You want to go rock fight, we've been able to do that. You want to speed it up, we've been able to do that. So theirs is unique in the sense that they try to keep everything on the side. I guess Boise kind of tries to do it. So I don't know. I mean, there's some similarities to what we try to do. They put the ball in Didon's hands a lot. He's terrific. We put the ball in Donovan's hands a lot. But I think we're both trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, there's been games in the past where one-on-one matchups kind of take center stage a little bit, like Isaiah with CSU and Jalen House last year. But this one could be the Didon versus Donovan game. To take us behind the scenes, do you talk to Donovan about a chance to maybe establish himself as the guy, as the point guard in the league?
No, that's irrelevant. I think we talk about winning a championship, and that happens in about 6 weeks. So if Donovan, for whatever reason, outplays Didon Thomas, what does that get us? You know what I mean? So we don't make it about that. Who knows if Donovan even guards him or he guards Donovan? So you don't make it about that. They're both terrific players. I like them both a lot. I'm very, very happy to have Donovan, and I'm sure they're very happy to have Didon. I mean, he came in our building last year and was phenomenal. But no, we try to just make it all about winning and not necessarily about that stuff.
The conference is starting to cannibalize itself. The middle of the pack is starting to consume itself. But the next 3 games offer you guys a chance to get some separation. And with the Mountain West starting to look like maybe a 3-bid league or 2-bid league, how important are the next 2-3 games for you?
Don't even really look at it like that. Got an opportunity on the road tomorrow. They're all important. They're important in different ways, right? You go beat a UNLV, that's a quad, I would assume 2. I don't know what it is. I don't look at the net anymore. But if you lose to Air Force at home, which we've done, it kills you in a different way. So, every game is very, very important. So I don't really look at like 3 games, 4 games. I just don't look at all that. I'm just see what we can do to have a good practice today.
You guys are near the top or at the top of the offensive rebounding in the league and stuff. It seems like you're getting a lot more activity under the basket with missed shots. Is that just guys just being really hungry and going after it?
It's a part of what we do. We were great at it last year, and obviously that had a lot to do with JT, who's having a phenomenal year. Mustafa's willingness to get in there and mix it up. He's not a phenomenal athlete by any means, but he's just willing to do it. Phillips put up some great rebounding numbers. Nelly has. We want to be aggressive there, especially when we shoot threes. You've got to get in there and put a presence in the paint and mix it up. So, just guys being willing to do it, but that's always going to be an emphasis of ours.
A follow-up to the offensive rebounding question, because I've thought it a few times this year, because you guys run so much and teams don't want to play as fast as you. If they want to dictate tempo, they want to slow you guys down. Are you guys able to go after more offensive rebounds because you could kind of take away the getting back on defense because they're not going to run? Are you able to risk it a little more?
Well, that's the risk. We argue about it all the time as a staff. Some guys want to send 2-3 guys back and play transition defense. I'm kind of like, screw it. If they break 2 or 3 times a game, like, what's the big deal? Like you watch UConn, the 2 teams. I talked to Kamani, who's a good friend of mine, who's on their staff, and they don't really get back much. So there's that NBA term of limbo rate, where you're just trying not to let guys get behind you. So there is a balance, but I want to be aggressive going after it. But teams have run on us. Like, I thought San Jose burnt us a couple times of us not getting back. So I guess it depends on the team. I think everybody wants to fast break. It's more on what they do on a make versus a miss.
And then I know I had mentioned to you some of the plus minus numbers and value, and I was kind of talking to you about how you assess like who's playing well for you, right? It's not just about scoring or rebounding. Like, how do you guys? Is there a real easy answer to how you guys assess who's playing well, like off the bench maybe, and this guy's starting to play better? Because I would say Jovan looks like he's playing better.
Yeah.
But what do you guys actually judge that on when numbers aren't?
I would say for bench guys, I do look at plus minus. I don't look at it on the year as much as in the game because it's on the box score. I'll look at it. Honestly, the bench guys, it's more of, do you look like a bench guy out there? Are you nervous? Are you scared to take a shot? Are you not as comfortable in the flow of the offense? Are you guarding? Like little things like that. Because most of our bench guys, CJ's different because he's got experience. Cade's is very, very inexperienced. Jovan's very inexperienced. Even Sacco, Tiki's had a little bit of experience at BYU. So it's more like, do you belong in the game? That's what I look at. So I do look at plus minus in the game, but that can be deceiving. I'm not anti plus minus. I like it. But it's more of a feel throughout the course of the game. And sometimes guys are pressing and you just got to get them out. Some guys, like Jovan, perfect example, like he had, 3 turnovers in the first half. And I don't think it was like he wasn't ready to play, but it's like you got to sit down right now. But we went back to him, and he was really good in the second half. So more of a feel thing more than anything throughout the course of a game.